little bit about the lessons that I've learned from two of the most unusual and inspiring people in my life, my grandparents, Don and Minnie Sandstead. So to set the stage, my wife and I are not too far off from the journey of starting to have kids ourselves. And as I think about the past and reflect on the present, I contemplate, what future do I want to build? What future do we want to build for us and for our family? I've come to learn that there's no better example of a more beautiful, happy, fulfilling life than what my grandparents have shown our family. But what makes them so unusual is that they didn't really start this happy, beautiful, fulfilling life until their 80s. And now that they're in the back half of their 90s, some of the best days may still be yet to come. So to highlight the three key lessons and learnings that I've been lucky enough to witness as a grandson is detaching from attachments, constant playfulness, and a love, just unbridled love. So to illustrate the level of attachment we were dealing with, my grandparents lived in a large house straight out of the 50s in the Chicago suburbs. And my grandma was a collector of sorts. Everything that she ever had, she kept. Things that they acquired from travels, old G.I. Joes, games from my dad and his brother when they were kids, clothes, jewelry, you name it, they had it. And they never got rid of anything. And if you ever went down to the basement, you'd realize she was a bit of a hoarder. But nonetheless, her possessions, the house that held them, that was her world. My grandpa, Don, kind of the classic archetype of a grandpa. So proud of his car, his hunting rifle, workbench where he could fix almost anything, but really nothing else. And one summer day, I was over there. I was a senior in high school, and I was helping them with chores to make some extra cash. And my task for the day was to go to the basement, take a pile of junk that hadn't seen the light of day, let alone light from a light bulb in years, and take it to the garage next to the trash. And I did. And at that time, my grandma showed up. She came in and was in a full fit of rage. All of a sudden, so attached to these items that she never even knew she really had. And as she stormed out of the room, my grandpa looked at me. I'll never forget it. And he said, JT, I need to sell this house. I've had it. It's too big. We have too much stuff. We're only getting older. And I don't know what to do. Do I get a divorce at 80? And he meant it. And it was a question I'd never been asked. I certainly wasn't qualified to answer. Spoiler alert, they stayed together. But a couple years later, my dad called me. I was at school, and he was shocked. He was surprised. He said, JT, Grammy and Grampy, they sat down together, which is a miracle in itself. They agreed to sell the house. They put it on the market, and within a couple days, it sold. And with that, my grandparents became free to play. I was home visiting from college, and I went to see them at their house for the first time. As I pulled up, they were standing behind the glass door window, waiting for me to arrive. As I approached the door, they were holding hands. They started dancing. They were buzzing like children. They invited me in after a couple big hugs and hellos. They gave me the tour. They went from 5,000 square feet, 3 stories, down to 700 square feet. We went from the living room to the office den to the kitchen, 2 bathrooms, their bedroom, all in about 60 seconds, finishing with the garage. There's almost nothing in it. They were so proud to tell me and show me how little they had and how happy they had become. They quickly told me they had joined a traveling dance troupe, dancing for retirement communities all around Chicago. And my grandpa said, last weekend, JT, guess what? It was our weekend off. Our group was on the road. The guy that was supposed to be the cowboy and the village people couldn't make it all of a sudden. So they called me and asked me to fill in. Guess what I did? I grabbed my cowboy hat, I ran out the door, and I put on a show. YMCA, baby. I'm now the permanent cowboy. The rest of the day, we sat there. They were holding hands the whole time. We were telling stories and laughing. And I always noticed them holding hands, which brings me to the last point, which is love. And about 5 years ago, I brought my wife to visit them and see them for the first time, or to meet them for the first time in person. If you're from Chicago, you might know Portillo's. I drove over, we picked them up, and we headed over to Portillo's together. As we pulled into a parking space, there was a stranger there, a woman. She was opening her car door next to the spot we were about to pull into, and she waved us in. Very patiently, she continued to wave at my grandparents to let them know it was safe to exit the car. I showed this nice lady some hustle, ran around the back door to help my grandparents out. They exploded out of the back seats and they said hi to this lady. Thank you. This is our grandson, JT. He does sales for a tech company, and this is his beautiful wife. We can't remember what she does, but we love them so much, and they're only here with us for dinner tonight. This woman was caught so off guard, and I was caught off guard, and I said, all right, wow, that's an amazing introduction. I wish I had that everywhere I went, so now it's my turn. These are my amazing grandparents, and they're in a traveling dance group. And this woman looked at us and said, that's amazing. It's the cutest thing I've ever heard. I'm 45 years old, and I can't even get my boyfriend to dance with me. To which my grandpa said, well, do you want to dance right now? She looked around the parking lot, a little confused and hesitant. Before they knew it, she was off in a two-step, carefully avoiding slow but oncoming traffic and parked vehicles. I couldn't help it. I grabbed my grandma's hand and we started dancing together. After about 30 seconds, he put this woman in her car, thanked her for the dance. My grandma and grandpa locked hands. Going into the restaurant, they walked into the same slot of the revolving door together. So to bring this home, the lesson for me is the life that I've dreamed to live is right in front of me, unfolding at any moment, every moment. It just takes a little awareness and perspective to see it. And detaching from attachments can be so much more impactful than trying to add things to our lives to enhance it. Playfulness and laughter, it's always available. And it just takes a person to change the room. And lastly, loving each other, your friends, your family, even a stranger in a parking lot can be so unbelievably profound. And I like to think that that lady got her boyfriend to dance with her that night. Thank you.